Hi, welcome back. This is Story Hustler, Murder, Mayhem, PTSD. I'm Dylan.
I'm Mike.
And this is, I don't know what episode we're on. I've lost track.
We're so deep into this venture that we're losing
track.
But this is sort of a departure for us because we just want to do a hats off, a tribute
to a dear friend.
Thumbs up to, and that we talk about this fella, and he's already pretty famous. I mean, a lot of people already know him, and I've always thought he was one of the most multi-dimensional people I know, and a lot of people know our friend Dave, the artist.
The artist.
And this is one of his
self-portrait.
Yeah, it was from Dave. Dave was a very well-known artist, and just an old family friend of ours. But again, people know Dave because he spent his life in the spotlight.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know, at 6 years old, David was kidnapped from his mother's house by his father because his parents were going through a bitter divorce battle and custody battle. So he was kidnapped from the Brooklyn apartment or home of his mom. His dad drove him across the country to California, promising him to go to Disneyland, and they never made it. And they checked into a hotel where Dave's father gave him a sleeping pill, laid Dave on the bed, and doused him in kerosene and set him on fire.
Yeah, and it's the kind of story that got a lot of people's attention and should have killed this young boy.
Yes. Burned 90% of his body.
Yeah, but
he was saved and made it out.
And again, we tell that story just as a setup because that Dave always said to me that he didn't want that moment to define his life, and it certainly didn't. Dave became very famous and sort of became friends with everyone from Michael Jackson to Michael Jordan to David Robinson, the Admiral, to famous baseball players, and he sort of grew up in the spotlight. But he survived that horrible attack, and
led an incredible life.
And led an incredible life. And I've always maintained that pound for pound, and I've known a lot of real tough guys in my career. Pound for pound, Dave was probably the toughest guy I ever met, because what his father,
and one of the kindest people you'll ever meet.
And that's the thing that people, we talk about, people knew Dave as an artist and knew that he was a friend
poet.
of Michael Jackson, published poet, but he had these sort of glitterati friends that gave, and he was friends with Elizabeth Taylor, and just an amazing slew of famous people. But he also had a very private and personal side. And this guy who really had no reason to trust anyone after the betrayal of his father was one of the most giving, generous, open, trusting people I've ever met.
Oh yeah.
And when I met him when I was first working as a TV producer in Los Angeles, working for a show. Dave was a young sort of assistant producer. We got to be friends. Worked on a number of stories, and this was. When was it? The early 90s, I guess.
A Current Affair, right?
Yeah, A Current Affair, and I was running the LA bureau, and Dave worked there, and so we worked together on a lot of big, tabloid stories. Working as a TV producer, late nights editing, and the craziness of those days, and the tabloid track that we were on, and it was a lot of fun. But Dave and I became pretty good friends, and it lasted over the years, and he was part of our family. Your mother tells the story that when your older brother was just born and we were brand new parents, I had just been fired. We were living in Los Angeles, so we're down and out in Los Angeles, have a brand new baby. We're both don't know how to, could barely brush our teeth or take a shower with the child. We're so overwhelmed by this. Dave was I think the first non-family member to show up, bring us dinner, and bring your brother two little baby Nike running
high
top basketball.
That's adorable.
And so he was the first person in our to see our new baby, and I can remember Dave holding our kid and saying, "You guys will get this parent thing down,
You got it."
Reassuring, and that's the friend I knew, and then you got to know him because Dave was a big basketball fan. and you played club ball and high school ball and college ball, and a couple of times you were playing in tournaments in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. And you'd come and watch.
And Dave and I'd be up in the rafters,
up in the stands,
screaming and hollering, hoping we didn't get thrown out.
Yeah.
But these are the memories, and we bring this up because Dave would have turned 45
last month, and then
the anniversary of his death is this week, and he died 3 years ago, and we miss him terribly. Talked to his mother, Marie. He's one of those kind of guys that, again, I just like to share the positivity of his life. There's a website that we'll put a link to. It's Dave HQ, mm-hmm. Dave headquarters, DaveHQ.com. You can see this is one of his prints, but he's got a whole slew of really fabulous art that you can see on that, and some of his writing.
And his mom also wrote a book about his life. And
Marie, his mother, is a wonderful person, and on that website you can see there's a book called her book that she wrote with a man named Mel White, and it's called David's Story, and it's extraordinary. I have a little essay in my book, and it is also printed there as well, but Marie's account of what happened, and she was the pillar of the strength in Dave's life. And so she's a good friend, and we just salute Dave, we salute Marie, and people who want to know more about our friend, check out Dave.
Check out his website.
Dave HQ.
We'll link it below.
Yeah, we'll link it below, and you knew him. I remember him consoling you after a basketball game, after you got beat
lost. Yeah, came off the court pretty discouraged. He was giving me some pointers, told me to believe in myself. And it meant something coming from him, you know? If it was coming from, like, you or mom, it's like your parents.
Easy to blow off, but,
I don't know.
This guy who'd clearly been through so much, and again, had no reason to trust the world, but was so open and giving. The times I miss most when I think about Dave, the things when we were not in the same. We used to love to go prowl around art galleries, mm-hmm. watch your games, and go prowl around.
Check out his art.
Yeah, and just goof around and make crack. I don't know why we sort of brought the goofball out of each other, laugh quite a bit. But we used to just walk around out here on late night phone calls. Sort of when either of us were having some difficulties seeing each other through it, or pontificating on the nature of creativity. I mean, that's the kind of things we discussed, and then talking about all our old friends that we worked with at Current Affair. But Dave, a lovely guy, and so if people
someone we miss dearly.
Yeah, and if people don't know about him, they should.
They should.
Yeah, we really good?
Should. Yeah, signing off for our tribute to Dave, and a bug just flew.
We're on the porch.
We're on the porch.
We're on the patio.
The Welcome nature. Oh my
landscape.
Gosh, desert.
And that big light doesn't. They all come here.
They're attracted to. Oh,
there you go. You can hear them.
Okay, well, signing off, and we'll see you next time. Like and subscribe, please.
Story Hustler.
Yeah. Murder, mayhem, PTSD. Bye.